And to talk more about this, we are joined by Harish Bijur, Brand and Business Strategy Specialist and founder. Harish Bijur Consults with us from Bengaluru. Thanks very much for being here. We've had a look at the factors at play when it comes to the process of ticket distribution. But help us better understand, how can parties tackle the issue of defection and the discontentment that usually comes along with this process?
Oh, well, firstly, any Indian election is a very exciting election, fundamentally because the numbers are mind-boggling, as you have already put it out there. The point is dissent, unhappiness, all part of the great election mechanism that kicks off with the announcement of seats, literally, in terms to say that which party is fielding which candidate. Sadly, for every constituency, you can only field one candidate. And therefore, there could be 9 contenders for one seat, and all 8 of them turn aside and say that we have been actually let down. And I think this kind of dissent cannot really be managed. The point is, every party has a disciplinary structure. And I think, most of the time, tickets denied means people jump out and discipline goes awry. There are terrific, examples where independent candidates who were denied tickets actually won and then defected and went back to the party. So these are the realities of the great Indian election game. And I think we're seeing it happening. Choosing candidates, winnability, of course, but then who's to decide what winnability is? Is there one survey which can actually tell you who's going to win? Not really, because there is a slip between the cup and the lip most of the time. So I think, is there a method to the madness? I don't think there is.
Right. When we just take a closer look at each of these factors, and like you said, the issue of winnability, it's very subjective as well. If you can just shed more light on how exactly this process works out internally within the party.
Okay. So typically, I worked with 2 of the prominent parties in the Indian context. And typically what happens is there is actually an understanding constituency-wise as to the pulse of the people. And this is done by all parties alike, the ruling party, the opposition party, and there are survey people out there going out into the grey gut of the great Indian market and trying to assess ground level reality. The data that comes out of it is only as good as the method which is employed to get the data out. Most of the time, the method is faulty, it's outsourced, and what comes up is at times influenced by certain sets of candidates even. Therefore, there's no one reliable method which tells you pre-election, maybe 6 months before the election, that this is the best candidate for you. But winnability is decided on the basis of the wave that is in existence, or the anti-incumbency wave that is in existence in any particular state. It is also decided on the factor of the dominant caste equations. India has 3,000 castes and 25,000 sub-castes. So it's not only religion, but it's caste and the subcaste. And then many of our seats are reserved, and the reserved seats need to be managed in a particular way. And therefore, research helps, but then only up to a point of time. The biggest disadvantage in assessing the pulse of the people is the pulse changes every 3 days. So, candidates need to be announced much earlier. Therefore, political parties sit down. There is a high command system in every political party, and high command decides.
Right. As you said, it's a complicated process which has several factors at play. But at the end of it, winnability being the most important one, as you just broke down for us. Thanks very much for being here on the broadcast.
Thank you.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.